The flames roared higher, licking the starlit sky as my family's century-old ranch crumbled into ash. Karen H.O.A. stood at the edge of my property, her silhouette framed by the inferno, a smug grin curling her lips. She'd done my barn, my equipment, my livelihood over a $200 HOA fine she claimed I owed. Her voice, sharp as barbed wire, had echoed earlier that day. Pay up, or I'll make sure you lose everything. I'd laughed it off, thinking she was just another entitled HOA tyrant. I was wrong, dead wrong. By midnight, the blaze she set had swallowed half my ranch, and Karen, in her pristine white blazer and stilettos, looked like she'd won a war. But she didn't know who I was. Not really. The next morning, I stood among the charred remains of my barn, the stench of soot choking the air. My workers, loyal men and women who'd toiled alongside me for years, sifted through the wreckage, salvaging what little they could. Karen had called it justice, claiming my late payment violated her precious HOA rules. She'd rallied the board, twisted their arms, and somehow convinced the local fire chief to look the other way while she taught me a lesson. I'd heard the rumors about her, how she bullied neighbors, fined them for minor infractions like untrimmed hedges or faded mailboxes. But this was personal. She didn't just want compliance. She wanted to destroy me. As I surveyed the damage, my phone buzzed. It was Maria, my old friend from the county clerk's office. "You need to see this," she said, her voice tight. She sent me a grainy video from a neighbor's security camera. There was Karen sneaking onto my property at dusk, a gas can in one hand, a lighter in the other. The footage was damning, her face clear as day, her movements deliberate. I felt my blood boil, but a strange calm settled over me. Karen thought she'd broken me. She thought I was just a rancher with a dusty hat and a stubborn streak. She didn't know I held the keys to something far bigger. See, I'm not just a rancher. By day, I manage my family's land, but by title, I'm the chair of the State Land Grant Approval Board. Every major development, every subdivision, every fancy HOA-governed community like Karen's needs my board stamp to break ground. Developers kiss my boots for approvals, and Karen's gated paradise, Willow Crest, was no exception. Her husband, a slick real estate mogul, had been lobbying for a massive expansion, hundreds of acres for new mansions, a golf course, the works. They'd been greasing palms for months, but the final decision? That rested with me. I kept that card close, waiting for the right moment. Karen, oblivious, doubled down. She showed up at the county courthouse the next day, strutting in like she owned the place, demanding I be fined further for non-compliance. She didn't see me in the back of the room, listening as she spun her tale of my delinquent ways. The crowd, mostly her HOA cronies, nodded along, eating up her lies. But then Maria took the stand. She wasn't on the agenda, and her sudden appearance made Karen's Botoxed brow twitch. Maria, with her no-nonsense braid and steel in her voice, held up a tablet and played the video for the room. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Karen's face drained of color as the footage showed her creeping through my gate, dousing my barn, and striking the match. The room erupted. Karen stammered, her usual venom replaced by pathetic excuses. "It's edited," she screamed. "He provoked me." But the evidence was ironclad, and the sheriff, who'd been quietly watching, stepped forward with cuffs. "You're under arrest for arson," he said, his voice flat but firm. Karen's designer purse hit the floor as she shrieked, her composure shattering like cheap glass. The crowd turned on her, their whispers growing into a chorus of outrage. Her own HOA board, smelling blood, began distancing themselves, claiming they'd never approved her methods. But the real twist came later that week. Karen's husband, Richard, called me, his voice dripping with desperation. "We can settle this quietly," he said. "Name your price." I let him sweat for a moment before replying. "You think this is about money?" I hung up and pulled the file on Willow Crest expansion. The proposal was a behemoth one, 200 acres, millions in projected profits. It had sailed through every hurdle, greased by Richard's bribes and Karen's bullying. But it hadn't reached my desk yet. I scheduled an emergency board meeting, and when the day came, I laid out the facts: environmental concerns, water rights issues, and, the small matter of the developer's wife burning down my ranch. The board's vote was unanimous. Application denied. Word spread like wildfire. Willow Crest's investors pulled out, and Richard's empire began to crumble. Karen, out on bail, faced a courtroom packed with my neighbors, my workers, and even some of her own HOA victims who'd found the courage to speak. The judge didn't mince words. 7 years for arson, plus restitution I knew she couldn't afford. Her haughty smirk was gone, replaced by a hollow, panicked stare as they led her away. The ranch she burned? I rebuilt it, piece by piece, with help from the community she'd terrorized. They brought tools, lumber, even homemade pies, turning my loss into a rallying cry for justice. In the end, Karen's downfall wasn't just a prison sentence or her husband's ruined dreams. It was the way her neighbors stopped fearing her. She'd ruled Willow Crest with an iron fist, but now her name was a punchline, a cautionary tale whispered at block parties and barbecues. My ranch rose from the ashes, stronger than before, and I made sure every new barn beam carried the names of those who'd helped me rebuild. As for me, I kept my seat on the board, approving projects that serve the land and its people, not just the wallets of men like Richard. What do you think? Did Karen deserve her fate, or was there another way to hold her accountable? Share your thoughts below.